Hey, hi, and welcome to A Taste of Fusion. Today, I'm conjuring up a glorious little fusion mashed potato as my appetizer. For our main course, I'm taking makhni chicken or butter chicken and coming up with a completely new delicious dish. And for dessert, something that's in season and something that takes you back to your childhood. A little chicky mixed with cherry in the form of a cherry chicky pie. But now, it's time to go pick up my veg and fruit, get back to the kitchen and get fusing. Right, we are ready to get started, but I'm going to do everything topsy-turvy today, and I'm going to start with my dessert, which is a cherry chicky cake. Now, first things first, I'm going to get my pan on a high flame, and straight in, I'm going to put in half a pat of butter. Be careful as to not brown the butter because you don't want that cooked butter taste coming in. Just want it to melt down. Next step, I've got some digestive biscuit crumb here, and I'm just going to sort of layer that into this butter. And this is about 500 grams. Just cook the biscuit a little bit once it's been entered into the butter. So now immediately I've got this lovely biscuity digestive smell coming up. I'm going to take it off the flame and put in about 2 tablespoons of honey into my biscuit crumb. Mix that up. Next step, I have here my little baking tin, and what I'm going to do is simply just layer in all this biscuit crumb into the tin in one go. So, next I'm just going to sort of spread it out at the base of the tin, but I'm not going to keep it very even. I don't mind if it's up and down in some bits because this is going to be part of our cake in the end. It's quite gooey, so it'll come out very, very delicious. So, that's it. Put this to the side and let that cool. Next step, get my pan on a high heat again. I'm going to put in about 4 tablespoons of honey to my slowly heating pan. Then about 250 grams of sugar. You need the sugar to dissolve, so I'm just going to move this around a little bit. Now, as my sugar is dissolving, I'm going to throw in 1 teaspoon of poppy seeds. That's it. Just a little fusion there. Mix it all in. All the water is dissolving, all the bubbles are coming up, and you know that your sugar is reaching, step number 2 in a sugaring process where it's sort of becoming almost like a little hard candy. I'm going to turn the heat down slightly here. I'm going to put in about 100 grams of pistachios and 100 grams of almonds. In they go. Mix them up. So here I've got my almond and pistachio chicky almost done. What I'm then going to do is put in some lovely cherries that I picked up. I'm just going to put them in whole, and I'm not going to stir them around quite a bit because I don't want the cherries to break up. I want them to lend their glorious color and their sort of, substance to this dish. In go my cherries. I'm just going to gently stir them. And the cherries have given their glorious color to this entire thing. Now I'm just going to turn the heat off, and from on top I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of honey. Stir it in gently, and then a little extra fusion there. I've got some basil over here, some fresh basil. I'm just going to break up a couple of leaves and put them in because I think that this will give a glorious little peppery zing and zap to the dish. Mix it up. Right, now, before this mixture cools, I'm just going to put in about 4 tablespoons of fresh cream. In they go. Wonderful, just put that aside. And of course, because I want everything to gel together very, very quickly, I'm going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of gelatin. So I just want everything to set in time. There's the gelatin, this lovely syrup, the cream has mixed in. I have this glorious color happening here. It's fantastic. Right, now let's transfer it to our dish. Straight in, onto the biscuit base. Now what I'm going to do here is just move all the fruit and the dried fruit sort of evenly around in the tin. And that's it. Dessert is done. This has to go in the fridge for a good 30 minutes. Now it's time to make our main course. Right, now to get started with our main course, which today is the fusion version or taste of fusion version of makhni chicken or butter chicken. So, what do I need for that? I need some chicken breasts, which I'm going to put into a bowl here. I've just got about 4 or 5 of them. 5. Here we go. Straight in. All right, now for our marinade. Well, it's not a marinade. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this in 2 parts. I'm going to grill the chicken with a lot of different spices and then fuse it together with the fusion version of the buttery sauce to go with it. So I have 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. For fusion, I've got 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, and half a teaspoon of cumin. Make sure the chicken is coated evenly on all sides. And whilst I do this, I'm going to pour in a little olive oil. Once everything is well coated, I'm going to squeeze in the juice of half a lemon. Let's mix it up. And that's it. Your chicken has been spiced. Now we need to get an oven dish. A simple oven dish which I've foiled, covered with foil over here. I'm going to layer my chicken out in it like so. Now, I'm going to pour in a little balsamic vinegar because I want balsamic vinegar to bring out the flavor of the thyme, and of course, it'll create that lovely bridge of flavor that we're looking for, as well as giving our meat a glorious little color. And that's it. Now I have to get this underneath a hot grill, which I've set the grill at a high flame, and that's going to be for about 10 to 12 minutes. Right, now it's time to get the things ready for our sauce. Now I'm using the same bowl in which I had marinated the chicken because I want the leftover spices to be incorporated in. Into this though, I am going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric, 1.5 teaspoons of red chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of thyme, and 1 teaspoon of cumin. Not exactly all the spices that you used in the chicken, but some of them. Next, I am going to put in 1.5 pats of butter and half a packet of cream cheese. And that's a lovely little fusion aspect right there. Next, I'm going to put in a little balsamic vinegar. Just going to drizzle in a few drops, not too much. Second, I have here some ginger that I've sliced up into, thin little strips, and I'm going to put in about 1 tablespoon's worth. And the same with garlic, sliced again, 1 teaspoon's worth. Now in our fusion butter sauce, we're going to add in about 4.5 tablespoons of cream. And finally, about 3-4 leaves of basil ripped up. And again, this is going straight into your bowl. Now all we have to do is cook this up. Right, so super simple. Pan on a high heat. Take all your ingredients, just pour them straight into the pan. Now, just start stirring it up, and you can see that immediately all the spices have started integrating with the butter and the cream cheese. The cream cheese will break down last, and you've got to be careful here that it doesn't curdle your entire sauce, so you just keep lifting it up, and look at that color and all those aromas. It's just fantastic. That's it. Turn the heat off and just break in the remainder cream cheese with your spoon. Because of the butter and the cream cheese, it's like, it's separated right now, which will come together in the end once you have your chicken in there. So that's it. Your sauce is ready. Let's go and see how the chicken's doing in the oven. Right, and the chicken breasts underneath the grill are almost done. They're about a minute underdone, and you can see that because when you press the top, they're still soft. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the chicken breasts and put them straight into this lovely sauce. And due to the fact that chicken keeps cooking, I don't want it to overcook and become stringy. I just want it to be perfectly soft and juicy and take in all these glorious sauces. There we go. So that's it. Our main course is done. This is just going to sit on the side till it's heated. And now it's time to make our appetizer. Okay, now for our appetizer, which is a sort of fusion mashed potato. Now, before I get started with the mashed potato, into my pan I'm going to put in about 3 onions that I've sliced up. Into this I'm going to put in 2 large pinches of salt, 2 large pinches of red chili flakes, 1 large pinch of turmeric, and a large pinch of coriander powder. Then for some good measure, I'm going to put in some mustard seeds and about 2 large pinches of that. Now, to make things super simple for myself, I'm going to pour in about 3½ tablespoons of olive oil. And now I'm going to fry it up. So I'm going to get my pan on a high flame. And I'm just going to wait for the onion to start sizzling. So here we go. My onion has started frying beautifully. I'm just going to fry it a little bit. Now, as my onion's sizzling away, I'm going to pour in a couple of drizzles of balsamic vinegar. And then put in ½ tablespoon of finely sliced ginger and 1 teaspoon of sliced garlic. I'm going to pour in about 2 tablespoons of oil from on top, just so the spices don't burn. Once you start smelling the mustard seed, you're going to add in potatoes, about ½ kg of potatoes that you've mashed up from before. I simply boil them and mash them up. I'm just going to add the potatoes straight into my pan. Stir this up. I'm going to add more olive oil from the top, about 1½ tablespoons. And I'm going to turn the heat off. Okay, so now once your potatoes and onions have fused together, next step is to add in 1 large tablespoon of butter straight into the pan. I'm going to take about 4 cherries, break them up, and just let them fuse in with all their glorious juices. Right, so I've got the cherries and the butter. I'm just going to mix it in. Make sure it's sort of absorbed by all the potato evenly. Just a pinch of salt from the top because potatoes suck in salt and a little addition is always required in the end. One last thing. A little basil. Tear it, put it straight in. Make sure that there are no lumpy bits in your mash because separate pieces of potato won't be very nice. Now, to layer it, here I have 2 plastic cups. Very simply, I'm going to grab a little butter and using my finger, I'm just going to butter the inside of these cups. All right, now in go your potatoes. Doesn't matter if they're still hot. Now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of cucumber and just make 1 layer of cucumber to give a sort of difference in crunch and of course make our appetizer look pretty neat. Now I want to serve it with something. I want to jazz up this sort of appetizer with something extra, and for that I've got a little fresh tomato here. I'm going to grab some basil, some olive oil and some lemon, and I'm going to blitz it up. Very, very simple. Just a little tomato tapenade or a tomato sauce on the side, a raw tomato sauce. Put in 3 chopped tomatoes into a handheld blender. pour in the juice of 1½ lemon. Put in ½ teaspoon of red chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of salt, throw in about 8 basil leaves and 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Finally, a dash of balsamic vinegar and blitz it up. Right, that's it. Our sauce has been blitzed up and is ready for serving with our glorious appetizer. And now all we have to do is plate it up. Right, we are ready to eat and I'm joined by the glorious and fabulously stunning Anisa. Hello, darling.
Hi.
I'm going to start you off with the entree or the appetizer, which is, well, it's a little fusion mashed potato here.
Because anything with potatoes in it is just fine with me. Like.
Oh, wow, wow.
Is that a Pakistani thing or is it just me?
No, I think potatoes in general are the most delicious.
Aren't they? Okay, cool.
Totally. I mean, they're my favorite anyway.
Let's give it a shot.
But this is something that is different. And
what's this sauce that you put at the bottom?
it's like a tomato and basil tapenade which has been ground down completely.
This tastes like organic food.
Our produce is organic anyway.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Totally. Totally. Or, you know, the term organic is that funky feng shui term that they use abroad for like cool food which is more expensive. Over here, everything's organic. Government manufactured.
Don't we use pesticides in a lot of stuff to be...
Not the way that it's used abroad in GM manufactured foods.
Although I have to tell you, I have weird taste buds.
Right.
And for some reason, I can't seem to eat anything which is not spicy. But luckily, I found really one of those guys in there.
So hard to please. These pretty people are always so, oh my god, it's so pretty, it's so hard to please.
No. I was saying it's amazing because I found one of those guys in there. What are they called? Those
red chilies?
Those little red chilies, yeah.
Now, moving on from here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Keep your fork. No, you can finish it. But I want you to eat this before it becomes really cold because this is a fusion take on makhni chicken.
What? Really?
Butter chicken, yeah.
Okay.
And I took them and I just use them, but very easy to do at home.
Okay, it's 100 times better than makhni chicken, so don't just say that. No, seriously.
Oh my
It is.
God.
I'm not just saying that. I'm very picky about food. And the chicken is cooked just right.
Thank you.
Okay. But though I think I kind of love ginger because I'm total like ginger like obsessor. And you could have gone a little more natural.
Well, if you just like, you know, keep trying and you see the strands of ginger, which I use on top more as. See, I didn't want to overpower it because with the fusion aspect here, I'm bringing in, you know, cream and I've got to get that blend and I've used basil in there instead of coriander.
That's what it is?
That, yeah. So it changes the flavor completely. Now you carry on eating this. Okay. I'm going to run and get dessert.
Okay, fine.
And I am back with dessert. This is a cherry chicky pie or cake.
Like the high school chicky that we used to
Yeah,
have?
like high school chicky.
This looks really good. Like it just looks, whatever you put in here, there's nuts, there's almonds.
There's almonds, pista, that's it. And then cherries.
And chicky and cherries. Yeah. You want me to just...
No, I just, wait, hang on.
You know that I never eat dessert, right? Chicky!